No family shall suffer hunger. No expectant mother shall lack protection. Until the child chosen by the river is born, every unborn daughter of this kingdom shall be treated as a blessing from the ancestors. Behold, Mmirima. Mmirima. Mmirima.
Mmirima, Mmirima.
Umbelaya,
Umbelaya, Umbelaya,
Umbelaya.
Miriti sonakogi.
I've been waiting for you. The time has come.
The sun is high, let's go. Wait for me.
After the king promised to appease the river goddess, the flood had disappeared. The Ekwuru River flowed gently once again, as though nothing unusual had happened during the night. Only the muddy footprints along the riverbank and the countless dead fish scattered across the shore reminded the villagers that something impossible had taken place. People gathered in small groups throughout the village. No one talked loudly anymore. Even children sensed that something had changed. Every conversation returned to one question: what caused the river to rise? No one had an answer. The elders performed sacrifices at the village shrine. Goats were offered, kola nuts were broken, palm wine was poured upon the sacred earth. The dibia burned herbs whose smoke rose into the sky like silent prayers. Still, the spirits gave no answer. Life slowly returned to normal, or at least everyone pretended it had. At the eastern edge of the village stood the modest compound of Okafor. Unlike some men in Umuokoro, Okafor was neither rich nor poor. His yam barn was respectable. His farm produced enough food every harvest. His family lacked nothing except one thing that mattered more than all the yams in Igbo land: a child. His wife, Nkem Dilim, had been married to him for 9 years. 9 long years, 9 planting seasons, 9 harvest festivals, 9 years of watching other women carry babies on their backs while her own wrapper remained empty. Every month she hoped, every month she cried in silence. At first, the village sympathized with her. Gods will remember you. The ancestors are only testing your patience. Your time will surely come. But villages have short memories. Compassion slowly became gossip. Gossip slowly became mockery. Whenever women gathered at the market, whispers followed Nkem Dilim wherever she walked. There she goes, the barren one. Poor Okafor, he deserves another wife. Those spoken softly, the words pierced deeper than knives. Nkem Dilim pretended not to hear them, but every night she cried herself to sleep. One afternoon, while returning from the stream, she passed 2 elderly women pounding cassava. Neither noticed she was nearby. I hear Okafor's family is already searching for another wife. It is about time. A man cannot allow his family name to disappear. Our ancestors forbid such foolishness. Nkem Dilim stopped walking. The clay pot on her head suddenly felt heavier than before. She quietly turned around. She no longer had the strength to fetch water. That evening, Okafor found her sitting alone beneath the mango tree inside their compound. Her eyes were swollen. He already knew why. Without saying a word, he sat beside her. For several minutes, neither spoke. Finally, she whispered, "I have failed you." Okafor looked at her in surprise. "You have never failed me." She shook her head. "You deserve children. You deserve sons to inherit your land. You deserve laughter inside this compound. Instead, I have given you nothing." Okafor gently took her hands. His palms were rough from years of farming. Nkemdilim, look at me. She slowly raised her eyes. When I married you, I married a woman, not a womb. Tears rolled down her cheeks. If the gods bless us with children, I will rejoice. If they never do, I will still thank them for giving me you. She burst into tears, not the quiet tears she had learned to hide. These were deep cries that had waited 9 years to escape. Okafor held her until sunset. From a distance, an elderly woman watched them. She smiled sadly. True love had become rare. Not everyone admired Okafor's loyalty. His elder brother, Madwabuchi, certainly did not. The following morning, he stormed into Okafor's compound without invitation. You are becoming the laughingstock of this family. Okafor continued sharpening his hoe. I greeted you. You ignored me. I heard you. I am listening. Madwabuchi became even angrier. 9 years, 9 whole years, and you still refuse to marry another wife? Our father had 3 wives. Our grandfather had 4. Why are you pretending to be wiser than all of them? Okafor calmly continued working. My answer has not changed. I will not marry another woman. His brother laughed bitterly. So, you intend to let our bloodline die? Okafor finally looked up. If children come, they will come. If they do not, then that is the will of God. Madwabuchi threw his hands into the air. You are bewitched. He walked away shaking his head. Before leaving the compound, he turned once more. When you become an old man with nobody to bury you, remember this conversation. He disappeared down the dusty footpath. Okafor simply sighed. He had heard those words too many times. As the months passed, Nkemdilim refused to give up. She visited every respected dibia within walking distance. She drank bitter herbs. She observed ancient fasts. She offered sacrifices to her ancestors. Nothing changed. One evening, she climbed the hill overlooking the Ekwuru River. The setting sun painted the water gold. She knelt quietly upon the earth. There was no priest, no elder, no dibia, only a lonely woman speaking from her heart. If I have offended anyone, forgive me. If my ancestors are angry, have mercy. If the river hears those who cry, please hear mine. I am tired. I only ask for one child, just one. I promise I will love that child with everything I have. A gentle breeze swept across the river. The water rippled softly. Nothing else happened. She slowly stood. Perhaps she had expected too much. She turned to leave. Then, a single white water lily drifted silently toward the shore. It stopped exactly where she had been kneeling. Nkemdilim frowned. There were no water lilies anywhere near that part of the river. She picked it up carefully. Its petals were perfectly fresh. Its fragrance filled the evening air. She looked around. No one was there. Far beneath the quiet waters of the Ekwuru, something unseen stirred, watching, waiting. As Nkemdilim walked home holding the mysterious flower against her chest, she did not know that her prayer had been heard. Nor did she know that every gift given by the river always carried a price. The white water lily never left Nkemdilim's mind. She placed it carefully inside a small clay bowl filled with clean water and set it beside the family shrine in her room. Every morning she expected the flower to wither. Every evening she expected its petals to fall. But one day passed, then another, then an entire week. The flower remained as fresh as the day she found it beside the Ekwuru River. Even its sweet fragrance never faded. When Okafor noticed it, he smiled. You have begun keeping flowers now. Nkemdilim looked at it quietly. I didn't plant this one. I found it. Where? At the river. Okafor raised an eyebrow. There are no lilies on that side of the Ekwuru. I know. That is why I have not thrown it away. He looked at the flower for a long moment, then he shrugged. Perhaps someone upstream dropped it. But deep inside, even he did not believe his own explanation. 2 weeks later, something happened that had not happened in 9 years. Nkemdilim woke before dawn feeling strangely different. She had no appetite. The smell of roasted yam drifting from the neighboring compound suddenly made her feel sick. She rushed outside. Moments later, she was vomiting beside the mango tree. Okafor hurried after her. Nkem, are you ill? She wiped her mouth and forced a smile. It is probably something I ate. But the sickness continued. For 3 days, she could hardly eat. She grew tired easily. Even simple chores exhausted her. Old Mama Ure, the oldest woman in the compound next door, watched her carefully. On the 4th morning, she walked over carrying a small basket of vegetables. She studied Nkemdilim's face without saying a word. Then she smiled. "My daughter, when was your last monthly flow?" Nkemdilim froze. She tried to remember. 1 moon, then another, then another. Her eyes slowly widened. She looked at the old woman. The old woman smiled even more broadly. "My child, I think you are carrying life." The basket slipped from Nkemdilim's hands. Vegetables scattered across the ground. She stood completely still. "No, it cannot be." Mama Ore laughed. "Go and count the moons. If I am wrong, I will never call myself an old woman again." Nkemdilim almost ran home. Her hands trembled as she counted. 1 moon, 2 moons, almost 3. Her heart began pounding. She waited until evening before telling Okafor. He had just returned from the farm, his body covered in dust. She stood quietly before him. "There is something I need to tell you." He smiled. "You sound serious." She took a deep breath. "I think I am with child." The farming basket fell from Okafor's hands. For several seconds, neither of them moved. He stared at her. She stared back. Neither dared celebrate. Hope had disappointed them too many times. The next morning, they visited the village's oldest midwife. After examining Nkemdilim carefully, the old woman looked up with tears in her eyes. "Congratulations. The gods have remembered you. You are carrying a child." Nkemdilim burst into tears. Okafor covered his face with both hands. For the first time in many years, the quiet compound echoed with laughter. News travels faster than the wind in every village. Before sunset, everyone in Umokoro knew. The barren woman is pregnant. It is a miracle. The ancestors have finally answered. Women who had once mocked Nkemdilim suddenly arrived carrying gifts. Palm oil, vegetables, yams, dried fish. Everyone wanted to celebrate the miracle. Only one person seemed unhappy. Madu Abuchi. Okafor's elder brother stood outside the compound watching the celebration. His wife whispered, "You should go and congratulate them." He folded his arms. "I will congratulate them after I see a child. Many pregnancies never become babies." His wife frowned. "You should not speak such words. I speak only what I have seen." He walked away. His heart had become too hard to rejoice with his own brother. As the months passed, Nkemdilim's pregnancy became the pride of Umuokoro. The women refused to let her perform heavy work. Children greeted her with wide smiles. Even strangers passing through the village pointed respectfully toward her compound. There lives the woman the gods remembered. Yet, strange things also began happening. One afternoon, Nkemdilim walked alone toward the river to wash clothes. Halfway there, she noticed birds. Hundreds of white egrets. They lined both sides of the footpath, perfectly still, watching her. She had walked that path thousands of times. Never had she seen anything like it. As she continued walking, the birds did not fly away. Instead, they quietly followed her, not close enough to frighten her, not far enough to disappear. When she reached the riverbank, every bird settled into the trees overlooking the water. The river itself became unusually calm. Not a single ripple disturbed its surface. Even the breeze stopped. Nkemdelim slowly knelt to wash her clothes. Then, without warning, the baby inside her kicked, not once, not twice, but so strongly that she gasped aloud. At that exact moment, the surface of the Ekuru River shimmered. For only a heartbeat, she thought she saw the outline of a beautiful woman standing beneath the water. The figure smiled, then vanished. Nkemdelim blinked. The water was empty again. She quickly gathered her clothes and hurried home. She told no one what she had seen. Who would believe her? That night, the oldest Dibia in Umokoro awoke suddenly from sleep. His entire hut smelled of fresh river water. He lit his oil lamp. No one was there. Yet, a voice echoed softly through the darkness. The child is coming. He rushed outside. The moon shone brightly above the village. Everything appeared normal, but his old heart began beating rapidly. He knew that voice. He had heard it only once before, as a young apprentice, the night before another great mystery changed Mwokoro forever. He looked toward the Ekuru River, then whispered to himself, "The river has chosen again." Far away, inside her small room, Nkemdelim slept peacefully. One hand rested upon her growing stomach. She smiled in her sleep. She did not hear the gentle sound that filled the room. It was not the wind. It was not rain. It was the unmistakable sound of a mighty river flowing beneath the earth. And beneath those ancient waters, eyes older than the village itself watched over the unborn child. The child who had not yet entered the world, but whose destiny had already begun. The months passed like drifting clouds over Umwokoro. With each new moon, Nkemdelim's stomach grew larger, and so did the village's excitement. For 9 years, they had watched her suffer in silence. Now they watched over her like a treasure that belonged to everyone. Old women constantly visited her compound with bowls of pepper soup, roasted fish, herbs, and advice. Sometimes there was too much advice. Never sleep facing the western wall, one old woman warned. It confuses the unborn child. Another immediately disagreed. Who told you such nonsense? It is the northern wall she must avoid. A third woman shook her head. None of you know anything. The important thing is that she must never step outside after midnight. The women argued so often that Nkemdelim sometimes laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks. For the first time in many years, laughter had returned to the compound. Okafor became more protective than ever. He refused to let his wife carry even the smallest basket. If she attempted to sweep the compound, he gently took the broom away. If you continue this, she teased one afternoon, people will think I married another woman instead of a husband. Okafor smiled. They can think whatever they like. I waited 9 years for this child. I can sweep my own compound. The neighbors often laughed as they watched one of the strongest farmers in Umokoro pounding yam, fetching water, and cooking soup while his pregnant wife rested under the mango tree. Some men mocked him, others secretly admired him. As the 9th month approached, the strange signs returned. One evening, the children were playing near the Ekuru River when they suddenly ran home screaming, "The river is singing!" Adults rushed toward the riverbank. The children pointed nervously, "Listen!" Everyone became silent. At first, they heard nothing. Then, very faintly, the sound floated across the water. It was unlike any song anyone had ever heard. It carried no words, only a beautiful melody that seemed to rise from beneath the river itself. Some women began to cry without understanding why. Even the old men felt goosebumps across their arms. The mysterious song lasted only a moment. Then the river returned to silence. No fisherman dared launch his canoe that evening. 3 days later, Nkemdelim's labor began. It started before sunrise. She woke with a sharp pain deep inside her stomach. She sat upright. Another pain followed, then another. She knew the baby is coming.